Youth and high school players, do you feel like you're not getting the most out of your potential? Are you working hard and putting hours into practice only to freeze up when the lights come on during game time? Maybe you're frustrated that the players who aren't working half as hard as you are getting all the glory while you can never seem to get the recognition you deserve. I know how frustrating this can be. Believe me, I've been there myself plenty of time. I remember feeling the same way when I started out as a high school bench warmer who needed to impress my friends and coaches. But if you stick with me for just a little longer, I could have the perfect solution for you. You see, after struggling at first during my high school career, I went on to play college lacrosse at Division III powerhouse Tufts University. My name is Coach Miller, and I've spent the last 20 years coaching the best players in the world at one of the best high schools in the country and college programs like Georgetown University. I've worked with MLL All-Stars like one of the all-time leading scorers in Scotty Urich, and I've helped countless late bloomers and players who struggle to believe in themselves become varsity starters and college standouts. Now, I'm not trying to brag here, but I want to show you that the exact same thing is possible for you, because I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Every single player I've coached with a big success story was no different than you. I guarantee it. They just needed a little boost in the right training program to unlock the beast player within that was just begging to come out. You can unlock the most confident version of your lacrosse playing self, and let me tell you, when you do, your whole world opens up. Every aspect of your life gets better when you start becoming the player you're meant to be. Now, before we continue, I need you to make a commitment to me and to yourself, because my programs aren't for the average lax player who wants the easy way out. My style isn't for the players who just sit around and hope they'll reach their dreams, because dreams without action are useless. So I only want you to click the link below if you're one of those rare warrior types who is starving for more and determined to take the action to get to where you want to be. Hey there, Coach Miller with BTB Lax. And what I want to talk about today is shooting. More specifically, how you can become a better shooter. Because we all know in lacrosse, if you're an offensive player, even a defensive player for that matter, you want to score more goals when given the opportunity to do so. And in order to do that, you need to shoot with more velocity, you need to shoot more accurately, and you need to have a lot of reps so you have that confidence so you can bury more shots. You see, I've been coaching lacrosse for a long time, in college, at the Division III and Division I level, and now at a big time, high school down here in the Washington D.C. area. And I've seen a lot of big time goal scorers, guys who can really put the ball in the back of the net, bury shots when given the opportunity. But it all changed when I moved from Tufts and came down to Georgetown and started coaching there at the big Division I program. I was like a young kid, coming from Division III, all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to go. And that's when I met Scotty Urich. I met him the very first day, had my interview with him. He was a great guy. I went home that night. I was like, I'm going to look up this Scotty Urich, see what he's all about. I read his bio, and that's when I truly discovered what type of player this guy really was. He was a two-time All-American at Georgetown, brought the team to the Final Four his junior year. He went on from there to play in the MLL for 9 years. He played on the world team. He led that team on goals. Not to mention, on that team, that roster had the Powell brothers, had Kyle Harrison, big-time names in the sport of lacrosse. And Scotty scored more goals than all those guys. Scotty was also an MVP of the MLL All-Star game. The guy has really accomplished everything you can on the lacrosse field. So Scotty and I became fast friends, and we started working out together quite a bit. It was great for me. I was just trying to stay in shape, but he was getting ready for his MLL season every year. So I was there doing what he was doing. And a lot of times we'd be on the field, where I'd feed him while he was, getting those reps in and work on his shooting. And it was on the field where he revealed to me his big secret. And he called it the simple sequence. And I've never seen a guy who can shoot the rock like this. He just especially in practice. In the games, his shooting percentage were absurd. He had one of the highest shooting percentages you can have for, college professional player. But in practice, the guy hardly ever missed. But anyway, he had this simple sequence. He liked to keep things real simple. He didn't like to overcomplicate things. And the way he would do it was broken down into 3 parts. It was time and room shooting, shooting in tight, and shooting on the run. And that's it. So every day he would go to the field, he would focus on one of those 3 parts, and that's what he would work on. Get his work in, get out, and go to the next part of his workout. So here's the best part. I was able to get Scotty on film to show you the simple sequence. And today, it's all about time and room shooting. He's going to go through all the fundamentals, what you need to know to become a better time room shooting. And in the next couple of days, I actually got him on film again to show you the other 2 steps where we're going to talk about shooting in tight and shooting on the run. But for now, let's get out on the field and let's have Scotty walk you through to become a better time and room shooter.
Okay, our next phase is time and room shooting. Traditionally, you get your time and room shots on man-up opportunities or in transition. You don't get a lot of them in each game, so you of course want to maximize the ones that you do get. Some technique that you need to keep in mind, okay? Because it's time and room, okay, doesn't mean you have all day. In other words, there's still bad guys out there trying to close that gap and get to your hands, so you really want to be careful about how long it takes you to release this shot. So try and have the quickest release you can, so again, you still have that space before the defender closes that gap. The best way to ensure a quick release on a time and room shot is to have as much in place as possible before you actually receive the ball. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So Mark is going to give me a feed across, okay? I know I'm going to be able to catch and shoot this with some time and space, so again, I want to have as much in place as I possibly can before I receive that pass. So as I see my teammate about to throw it to me, okay, I want to get myself situated as this. Rotate my hips, rotate my shoulders. Give him a nice high target, okay? It's going to be a 3-step process to this shot. Ultimately, it's going to be front foot, back foot, front foot, and I release on that 3rd step, okay? So if I can keep my hands still, but get my first step going forward as I'm receiving that pass, I'm really going to cut down on the amount of time it's going to take me to release that ball. A couple things here to keep in mind.
See you on the other side.